Hello, every Tamrieli buddy. Well, I didn't expect to stream today. In fact, I said that I was done streaming on YouTube, but as it turned out, that wasn't entirely accurate because I'm streaming again. So we're not doing any actual gameplay today, but we're going to, together, we'll watch the big Elsweyr reveal. So here we are, back in Tamrieli. This time we are going to Elsweyr. And I get to, and my fake Khajiit accent returns. I haven't done the Zaurabi accent in a long time. I had a character in Skyrim, his name was Zaurabi. He was a Khajiit sneak thief, of course. And I would voice act him, and it was a lot of fun. It also makes my throat very hoarse, so that's why, in case I decide to do a Khajiit voice, I've got like 2 bottles of water here. It's much easier, though, than a super mutant. Oh, shit. Yeah, I can only do super mutant for like 5 seconds, and then my voice is shot. All right. So how many people do we have here? It doesn't really matter because this is just whoever wanted to pop in. You know, it's not meant to be a big stream. We could have 20 people. We could have 2,000. Who knows what's going to happen, right? Let's get it. I mean, let's just watch it. It looks like we're only 2 minutes away. It says it's 2 p.m. Pacific time. I mean that. Oh, and they're live from the Twitch headquarters in downtown San Francisco. Live from the Twitch headquarters, in the land of empty syringes and condoms and drug paraphernalia and homeless people laying on the street. I would not work for Twitch. Hey, if they move down here to Silicon Valley, I'll work for Twitch. I am not going to go up there every day to deal with that. I'd rather clean out every toilet in Grand Central Station with my tongue. Yeah, I think I would rather do that than have to commute all the way to San Francisco and deal with empty syringes, like needles all over the sidewalk, and homeless people, and then crazy mentally ill people like coming up and attacking you, and then crooks and thieves stealing, like coming up, ripping something out of your hand like a laptop and then running off with it. Hey, Captain George, what's up? And then Oath Knigget is here, Dave the Damon, Fusro Don. Good, we got 19 people. That's perfect audience for a reveal. In fact, it should start any moment. I don't know what it's waiting for. Why don't we turn the music off now? That was the Elder Scrolls Online soundtrack I was playing for. Oh, here we go. What? Oh shit. Hang on a minute.
Early in the year,
there.
We're here on Twitch, so we must have a big announcement.
Yeah.
And we do. But we're aware that some of you already might know some of the details we're going to talk about in this show. I just want everyone to know there's a lot more information that we are going to talk about in the show than has already been released.
Oh.
So we're going to proceed as if there haven't been any spoilers.
What's this?
But before we get started, I just want to say that last year was one of the most successful years for Elder Scrolls Online.
What is this?
We added more players to the game in 2018 than we have at any point since 2015's console launch. And this year, we'll be celebrating the 5th anniversary of the original launch of Elder Scrolls Online back in 2014. It's an amazing accomplishment, and we couldn't have done it without you, the community. You guys are the reasons why we're doing this. You're a huge part of our success, and we can't thank you enough. This year, we're going to do something new, different, and huge. We're going to have the same update cadence that you've been used to over the last couple of years with updates in every quarter. This year, though, we'll be telling one epic story over the entire year with key story beats coming in each update. To make this epic and awesome, we are introducing the most iconic enemy in the Elder Scrolls world. We're also introducing the most requested player class from you, the community, who has been asking for it since launch. And we're going to go to the most requested part of Tamrieli that you want to explore more of. We're really excited about what's coming this year, so we're about to show the worldwide premiere of the announced video. After that, Rich Lambert, the creative director on Elder Scrolls Online, will be here live and in person to talk more about what we're doing, go in depth, and answer some of your questions. So enjoy the video and see you on Tamrieli.
Whoa. Well, so we've got
every year you guys do this, man.
dragons and
Go
Khajiits.
live, and now I'm just like sitting here shaking. That dragon was so cool. The whole video was cool, but to be continued at the... hello, everyone. I think I do this every year where I'm just so excited about that trailer. I'm Kelly Link. I'm joined here by Rich from ZeniMax Online Studios, and we're going to be talking about the Elder Scrolls Online year of 2019.
So apparently this Elsweyr expansion is going to happen in several updates. Okay.
I mean, I've seen that trailer probably 1,000 times now, and every time I see it, I still just grin. You know, I'm going to probably be grinning like a fool the entire stream. It's so good, and it fits so well with the year that we have planned. It's the introduction of dragons to Elder Scrolls Online, finally, one of the most iconic creatures in the lore. It is, I mean, you saw it in the trailer, you know, when I'll say his name once, and then I will shorten it because it's impossible to pronounce for me.
Oh, no.
Caligrantid comes out, and does his big thing, like, that right there just sets the tone. Dragons are coming to the
It is. So I was just laughing there though because I got a little voice from the producer that so before we were going to start the show we had 3 viewer goals to reach and we were going to be unlocking something with each one. The first one was going to be a Hall of Colossus concept art and we've already reached that, so that is now available to everyone. The Hot Pepper Bantam Guar Pet Tier 2 has also been reached. So
they're talking. That must be what these are.
We're gonna do the pet a little
These
bit.
things. That must be what those are.
Community thing.
I wish they would get.
So
Yeah,
what's
that's
gonna
what
happen
those were.
is, now that it's unlocked, all you have to do to win it is to log in at least once over the course of January to any platform, whatever, and then when our update 21, which is our dungeon DLC that goes live a little bit later on in this quarter, you'll get it.
Oh.
So the third one is a tattoo.
Might be worth installing it
I'm
again,
sorry to say
maybe.
this, but we've already reached that.
We already reached it?
Yeah, we already reached it.
Holy cow.
Oh yeah,
So
now he
we're
has
going
to get a
to
tattoo.
No, I haven't. I'm blown away.
He has to get a tattoo now.
A huge number. And I was like, yes, I don't have to worry about this. But I'm not the biggest fan of needles. So
I'm giving you a warning. I've only gotten one tattoo in my life, and I passed out from the pain.
Elder Scrolls Online
So, good
tattoo.
Do
That's
you know
going to
what
be
you're gonna get?
embarrassing.
I do. I have an idea of what I
Imagine having to explain
want.
that
It might
to
take a while,
to his
but
kids.
The idea is it has to be safe for work. It has to be Elder Scrolls themes. You know, I've been working on ESO for 12 years now. So it is something special to me, and I want to absolutely do it right.
And now you have to do it.
Now I have to do it apparently, which is holy cow. And I'm thinking leg sleeve, you know, between the knee and the ankle, something there, something really
Something
cool.
that you could hide also potentially if
Well,
you know?
so I never wear long pants. I
So something
always
you
wear
wanna show-
shorts.
but
so
wait.
I want to show. I have to wear long pants for this.
You're wearing pants right now.
It's been mandated. I have to wear them. So yeah, sometimes it'll get hidden, but most of the time.
All right. Well, good luck on that.
I am so impressed.
To reach it already, all
Already.
3 viewer goals. That was something that I was like through the show going to be like, we hit number 2. No, already all 3 done.
Right off the top. That's unbelievable.
Well, Rich, we have a lot to talk about today.
Oh, yes.
So,
Good, let's do it.
year-long story in Dragons, that cool trailer, but to be continued. The story is going to be continued.
It is, and like I said earlier, it fits into the plans that we have for this year. We were going to tell a year-long story over 4 updates. So Matt talked about it earlier. We're going to follow the same kind of cadence. So quarter 1's the dungeon DLC, quarter 2 is chapter, quarter 3 is a dungeon DLC, quarter 4 is a story DLC. And each of them are going to build on each other, and they're going to provide lore and backstory for all of the events that are going on. So it's one kind of year-long epic story.
Yeah, and
you
it
guys
does
are
make
actually
people
gonna go a
come
little bit
back.
more
That's what they're
into
trying to
the
do, is to
story
get us to come
later on in
back
the year
every
at
3
E3.
months.
We will. So we're going to talk specifically about quarter 1 and quarter 2. And we're going to save some of the really juicy things for E3 a little bit later on in the year. And that's actually where you're going to see the next part of the trailer.
So we have a little bit to wait.
We do.
Just a
but
few
there's
months.
tons of really cool stuff that we can talk about right now.
Well, then let's talk about it. The season of the dragons finally in Elder Scrolls.
They are.
Online.
Finally in Elder Scrolls Online. It's something we want to do for a very long time. I actually got into a little bit of trouble in an interview way back when in 2012 where I didn't outright say dragons will never be in Elder Scrolls Online. Because I knew at some point we would get there and we would do that. And now they're here, which is awesome.
5 years in the making.
It's been a ride.
I mean, well, dragons have such an important role into Elder Scrolls. What is the process that you guys took to make sure you did it right?
We spent a lot of time talking with Bethesda. You know, they're the ones that have built this amazing IP, and we get to work with it and build on the storyline. So we worked really closely with those guys down there to make sure the things we were doing made sense. And our dragons are going to be a little bit different than the dragons you're kind of used to in, say, Skyrim.
Okay.
Okay, listen.
You're not Dovahkiin. You don't have
a Fusrada.
Right, you don't have the tools to kind of go toe-to-toe with the dragons. So in Elder Scrolls Online, the dragons are going to be that much more difficult. And you're going to need some friends, and you're going to need to kind of figure out ways to deal with these threats.
But it's not just dragons. We have even more.
We do. We have, like I said, a year-long story. And I guess the non-spoilery version or synopsis of the overarching story that we're telling is Imperials invading Elsweyr with a necromantic army, dragons running ramp shot over Elsweyr, and you have to help the Khajiit kind of figure out what's going on and why they're getting double teamed.
Well, that's interesting.
Very, very popular in a specific one.
They
maybe,
are.
You know?
You know, Matt said earlier on at the beginning of the show that they are one of the most favorite races, and Elsweyr proper is one of the most requested zones.
You guys had little bits of Elsweyr, though.
We did. We had Reaper's March and we had K'narthi's Roost, but those are kind of on the periphery, and we're going into the heartland of the zone.
But this new chapter brings a new class, and you sort of slightly mentioned it.
Yeah, there's
what
a
is it?
Necromancer. We can talk about that.
Oh,
in a little
Necromancer.
bit. It is by far the most requested class to go into the game. I think people even in beta were asking, you know, where is this? You know, can we see this?
Well, tell me a little, well, you said we're going to talk about that later. You're right, we're going to talk about it later. We have too much to go over right now. So first and foremost, let's talk about the chapter. The big year, big chapter, and lots of amazing stories and everything that we're going to have. We've already talked a little bit about the bits of Elsweyr that we have, but What is bringing Elsweyr to Elder Scrolls Online going to do for the game?
You're going to get to spend a lot more time learning about the Khajiit and their lore and kind of how they work. And we actually have a video that the team put together that'll give people a little bit of a sneak peek as to, what they can expect.
Let's check it out.
Okay. Oh, now this is the actual gameplay video, maybe. Wait a minute.
3 minutes and 30 seconds.
Welcome this year to Elsweyr, the mysterious southern province of the cat people of Tamrieli. Little seen in Elder Scrolls until now. The fan-favorite Khajiit folk. You're gonna love them. So for this year, for the Elder Scrolls Online, we're taking a new approach. We had, with the province of Elsweyr and with the threat of the dragons, a story that's so big that it even transcends the chapter format. So we're going for a full year story, all 4 quarters, all tied into one epic saga that enables you to work with these great characters to save the Khajiit and the land of Elsweyr from these terrible threats.
We've done stories that have stretched over multiple releases before, but this is the first time that we've concentrated a single theme into everything we're doing for the year. It's the year of the dragons, and it's just some amazing content that I can't wait for you guys to play.
Dragons, those dread creatures from out of the past that have been hidden away for so long, but released to threaten Elsweyr.
Going to Elsweyr gives us the opportunity to explore the legends and mythology of the Khajiit.
Arguably, they're one of the oldest Elder Scrolls races, so we wanted to show that they've inhabited this place for a long time. And that, to me, was a really interesting thing to work on. A lot of the architecture is built out of their, the living rock of the zone. We like to draw on real-world cultural influences or real-world geographical influences for cultures that we work on in-game. Some of the areas we looked at were North Africa, West Africa, and Yemen. Geologically, these areas were varied enough to give us enough variation for the zone, but they were also interesting enough to give us lots of cool geographical features.
If you know anything about the Khajiit, you know that the moons of Tamrieli, Joan and Jode, exert a tremendous metaphysical influence over both their form and their culture. We're going to be going a bit into the basis of that, and you're going to learn more about their relationship with the moons.
Throughout the year, we're going to get to explore lots of different aspects of the Khajiit culture. We're going to get to see how they rose from 16 different kingdoms to become the united nation, or mostly united nation that they are today.
The cat folk come in many different varieties, and they have a lot of different ways of looking at the world, and that means conflict.
We're going to find out how they get to govern themselves but are still part of the ordinary dominion and what that means. And we're going to see some things that we haven't shown before. Possibly the different types of Khajiit that we've heard exist that we've never seen other than in books.
All of these things mix and meld together in our new chapter of Elsweyr, providing a really fast-moving and deep but exciting series of stories about pulling this realm back together and reuniting the Khajiit so they can stand tall beside their allies in the Aldmeri Dominion.
I can't give away too much, but there's a number of different things that are coming that are going to shock and surprise you, and hopefully delight you.
Let me tell you, we're really excited about presenting Elsweyr to you, the players. We've shown little parts of it before with Canarthy's Roost and part of Reaper's March, but we've been thinking about this for a long time. It's been a long time coming. We're really excited about this, and we really want to see what you do with it.
Can Lawrence just commentate my life?
I know.
So, yeah, and I've actually visited both. There are 2 regions which you can visit in the base game, Elder Scrolls Online, and I visited both of them, and they are desert-like, but it doesn't feel like Elsweyr. And just like you could visit, parts of Morrowind, parts of, Morrowind, before the big Morrowind expansion. It's kind of the same thing.
Provide a little bit of navigational aids to the players. It's easier, there's less fatigue, and everything doesn't look the same. And in Elsweyr, we've got, like you said, the 3 major biomes. One is one is a savanna, grassland, which is fertile. You kind of saw it in that initial concept piece in the northern section. We have a desert
it does look beautiful.
biome that is very rocky and craggy. You can think of Grand Canyon as kind of an example. And there's actually a scar that goes right through kind of the middle of the zone that has a whole bunch of really cool rock formations and things like that in the zone. And then we have a jungle forest, which For those that are familiar with the lore, know the Tenmar Forest is kind of in the southern region of the zone, and so you're going to get to go there and explore it.
Well, tell me a little bit about the culture of the Khajiit, and I know you touched on it a little bit at the start of it, but what exactly are we going to be seeing here? The different types of Khajiit, that's really cool.
It's a big thing. In the lore, there's, I think, 17 different types of Khajiit.
Okay, that makes sense, though.
It's pretty wacky, it's pretty wild, and we're going to show you some of them. You're going to actually get to interact with the Elfiq, who are essentially, we would kind of call them house cats. They're these really small, really cute creatures. They're super smart. They have this really strong affinity to magic, and they talk.
So wait, do they look like the Khajiit though, or do they look like
They are
tiny
more
house?
house cat-like, and you actually saw it in that little
Okay.
bit there where they were showing kind of the costumes. The team had a lot of fun designing costumes for these creatures.
Oh man. And this new chapter is bringing a lot of recognizable characters that we've seen way
Yeah,
back when.
That's one of our favorite things to do when we kind of start thinking about the next thing we want to work on. We look at what are the most kind of beloved characters and how we can incorporate them into the content that we're building. And this year, we of course have Abner Tharn. He's coming back. We've teased him a bunch. You got to see little bits and pieces of him. He's voiced by Alfred Molina. So he is coming back, and it's been really interesting seeing Alfred kind of in the studio and trying to remember who Abner Tharn was. You know, it was 5 years ago that he last did it, and he actually,
Oh, shit.
when he sat down, he read the script, he knew the script, he's like, I don't really remember this character. Could I listen to a few lines? After the second line, he went, I know this guy, let's do this, and he knocked it out of the park.
That's
Like,
awesome.
He's so good, he so gets who Abner Tharn is, it's so great.
And he's going to be even better in this chapter.
Yeah, he has some amazing lines that he's got lined up for this. Another character that we have that is coming back, and he plays a really important role in the main story, is Sir Cadwell. So he is kind of this lovable goofball. He's kind of comic relief in the base game.
Okay.
He's that soul shriven that wears the pot on his head. He's voiced by John Cleese, and John Cleese is coming back.
I didn't know John Cleese did that voice.
He did. He did it, and it's going to be a lot of fun for players because you're going to get to learn a little bit more about who Cadwell was before he became soul shriven. And it's going to surprise a lot of people, I think, because it is not what you expect.
I mean, that's the cool part about Elder Scrolls Online, though, is that, you know, people throughout all the different Elder Scrolls games, there's so much different lore. You guys kind of get to build your own chunk of history in the whole lore.
You know, we live in the Second Era, which is not really full of a lot of very detailed lore, and so we get a lot of freedom and latitude to kind of build things. And I guess the last one that I'm going to talk about, we have a whole bunch of others. I'm not going to spoil them, but we are going to Elsweyr. It is the land of the Khajiit. We are going to bring Razumdar back, but he's playing the role he has in I was going to say Somerset. Wow.
Whew, last year. That was last year.
Whew. The role he plays in Elsweyr is more of a cameo. He's got an interesting storyline that he has that fits Raz to a T, and I think people are going to really enjoy it.
And there's going to be more characters as well, but like you said,
Yep.
you don't want to spoil that
no
just
spoilers.
yet.
You'll hear a lot more about them at E3 because we don't want to spoil the surprise.
And I mean, you've given them so many spoils already.
There's tons of stuff that we've still got to go too.
Well, at the top of the show, we mentioned necromancers, and that's a class that fans have been asking for since the beginning. You're going to tell me a little bit about necromancers?
So I don't know. I said we would, but you know, I don't know that I want to. You know, it got data mined. You know,
You're
all
salty.
the data miners know exactly what it is, or so they think. So let's let them sit on it for a while and stress. You know,
So all we're going to know is that there's a new class available.
maybe
that's a good idea.
I think the 90,000 plus people that came here to give you a tattoo
Yeah, they did do that.
want to know a little bit about necromancers.
Okay, we'll talk about that.
Okay, thank you.
So, necromancy in Elder Scrolls lore is all about the manipulation of mortal souls and reanimated corpses. It is very much a taboo kind of art. It's something that is not looked very well upon in the world of Tamriel. In a lot of places, it's outlawed, and we're going to make sure that the necromancer itself fits and feels that way. So one of the things we're actually doing is we're going to introduce justice reactions for the necromancer. So if you do something overtly necromantic, NPCs are going to react to it, and they're going to call the guards on you, and the guards are going to come whack you.
That's so cool.
It fits the lore. It makes the world feel believable.
Wow.
And it just makes sense.
Are there other instances outside of cities where NPCs or anything else will interact with you negatively or even positively?
That's something that we're working on and we're looking at. We're not sure if it's going to feel right or not. We know we really like the justice reactions because it makes sense. You know, the general populace is kind of afraid of it. But we'll kind of tune and tweak that as we go and see if we like that or not.
Is that just in Elsweyr? Or is that
is
all of Tamriel?
All of Tamriel. Necromancy is taboo.
They're not a fan.
They're not a fan.
And you were talking about a necromancer army.
The Imperials, yes. So that's kind of how the story ties in to the necromancer. And one of the things we just saw really quickly, one of the things we do when we design a new class, and maybe we can bring that back up, is we do these kind of pose studies and the look and feel of the necromancer. And so you can kind of see this is one of the skill lines for the necromancer. And it already feels different. You know, the movements are a little bit different, and that ties very well into our goals for the class, where this isn't just a sorcerer with undead pets or a dragon knight with undead abilities. It has its own unique suite of abilities, its own unique set of mechanics. And you know, we want it to feel like the class anybody can kind of pick up and play, but there's kind of this high mastery curve. So one of the things we're doing, you know, pets, for example, the way they're going to feel different is they're more kind of fire and forget, more turret-like, where I summon a skeletal mage on my target, and it nukes my target for a while and then collapses into a pile of bones. Or I summon a skeletal bomber, and he charges into the target and blows up into the shards of bone and leaves a corpse there on the ground. So it fits that lore and that feel of I'm summoning kind of my minion army, and also fits with the lore because necromancy isn't a perfect art. You know, it's really hard to summon a permanent companion or reanimate something for forever.
Yeah, I remember that.
A lot of times, and when you do reanimate
your
something,
familiars wouldn't last very long at all.
No.
So it just kind of, you know, falls apart, and so it feels really good.
I like that. And something though that you guys do with a lot of your classes is that there's not just one way to play a necromancer.
Yeah, there's multiple ways. Like all of our classes, they can tank, they can heal, they can do damage, and each of their skill lines is kind of themed around. One of the really interesting mechanics behind the necromancer is corpses. Corpses help power up the necromancer. So they have some abilities that create corpses, and they have others that spend them, and you can, you know, use them kind of any way you want, but if you cast a spender kind of on another corpse, it's going to power up, and it's going to do extra damage or extra healing, and so it turns that into kind of the strategic moving the battlefield around.
And the corpses only appear by the necromancer's ability, or if a mob falls and dies.
You can use any corpses.
Any corpses?
Any corpses, yeah.
That's awesome. Oh man, I can't wait to see players break that.
It's going to be fun. I think it has a really cool suite of abilities.
Wow.
And we're really looking forward to what players are going to do with this. And I think my favorite ability thus far is in the tanking line. And it's the Necromancer Ultimate, and they actually get to turn into this big, badass, cool Bone Colossus.
Bone Colossus, like sort of like a bone Atronach.
Oh man,
okay.
I can't wait.
So magic is already.
I'm looking at my notes here to talk more about the
So magic is already complex in the game, and this sounds like it's just making it even more confusing. But it'll take a while to master it. Okay, back to her.
That you know what I think is really interesting that we should talk about? What's going on in PvP?
Yeah. So one of the things that we always love to do in our chapters is try to have something for everybody. And so PvP is going to get some love. Cyrodiil specifically is going to get some love. And we're going to introduce a new system that I'm going to call artifacts right now.
So it might be something different
later?
We'll see
what we call it later on, but the general premise behind the system is that there's a number of really cool, interesting artifacts in Tamrielic lore. There's only one of them. They're these unique items, and we've been trying for a long time to try to get them into the game. And that's really hard because if there's only one of them in the world, only one person can use it.
Yeah.
And that's not fun for the other, million people that are in the game playing.
Right.
So what we decided is we are going to introduce or enlist the help of Sheogorath to introduce these weapons into Cyrodiil specifically. And he's decided that there's not enough chaos in the world. specifically Cyrodiil, and he wants to kind of up the ante.
Okay.
So he's going to open his vaults and spawn these weapons. The first one is going to be Volendrum, which is a really cool epic weapon. And when it spawns randomly somewhere in the zone, everybody's going to get notified that this thing is spawned in the world, and there's going to be this
in the world. Everyone's
in
going to
Cyrodiil.
Oh, okay, only in Cyrodiil.
In Cyrodiil.
Okay.
And everybody's going to make a mad dash for it, and they're going to want to pick it up because when they do, they get this.
Do they know where it spawns?
No.
Ooh.
So they will, when it does spawn, they'll know where it is, and they can go to that location. But when they pick it up, they become super powerful. So think Emperor buffs, and their hotbar is going to swap out, and they're going to get 6 brand new abilities. So 5 abilities and an ultimate. And that's going to turn them into this juggernaut of chaos.
But when everyone is already there trying to get the weapon, it's going to be one juggernaut versus hundreds of other players.
There's going to be some chaos. There's going to be some carnage. They're going to be able to, you know, break into keep walls, like all kinds of crazy stuff. It's really awesome. But there's a rub.
Okay.
So this is Sheogorath.
Yes.
And he always kind of has stipulations. He plays games. And so the rub with the Volendrung is that you have to feed it. Constantly feed it. And the way you feed it is by killing other players. And if you're not killing other players, it's going to eat you and kill you.
You guys in the dev team just be like, we need more chaos. Let's just, you know, shake things up a bit.
Yeah, you know.
That's awesome.
Wheeler has some crazy ideas sometimes. He's the lead PvP designer, and we love this idea. And so we're like, jump on it, let's do this. It's really, really cool.
Yeah, for people that want to be in a more combative setting, they can go to Cyrodiil. And if they don't want to, they just avoid Cyrodiil.
Exactly. You know, for the longest time, we've gotten tons of feedback about, you know, Emperor is really strong. There's not really a counter to Emperor. You know, people can hold Emperor. This is a really good counter to Emperor, and it's going to just throw all kinds of chaos into Cyrodiil.
And you said that he throws down one weapon. What does that mean? That there's
We're going to start with one with Volendrung and kind of see how it goes. And if players really love it, yeah, we'll probably do some more.
Whew.
So the other bit of PvP love that's going to come in Cyrodiil is we're actually going to take Imperial City and we're going to turn it into its own campaign. So we're going to remove it from Cyrodiil. It's going to be its own campaign. And that's going to give us kind of 2 things. One, it's going to remove some overhead, reduce some overhead of having this extra zone kind of in there, so performance will be a little bit better. But it's also going to make Imperial City hoppin'. People are going to be in there. Imperial City is so much fun when there's tons of people running around in there. It's just chaos. And so that is going to make PvP so much fun in Imperial City.
But there's not just PvPers in the game.
There's not.
We got people that enjoy trials.
We do. We have a raiding group, a very vocal raiding group. And so there is some love coming for them as well. I'm not going to dig too much into details on it, but what I will say is the trial is called Sunspire.
Okay.
It is focused entirely on dragons, so you get to fight big, badass, powerful dragons. It is a full trial, so it is full of base pop and bosses and really cool mechanics. We're shooting for, you know, Mauve Lorcage style, you know, length, so it's this big, full trial. And the really unique thing about this trial is that each of the bosses in it has its own unique hard mode. So that's going to make so much more content for all of the veteran players who really get into that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
They're going to love it and
actually have some difficulty in the game.
Have some difficulty, and it's going to, you know, push them, which is going to be fun.
Unfortunately, Rich, I think we need to push ourselves as well because we're talking too much about all these things, and we gotta move on to Wrathstone DLC, our lovely Wrathstone right here.
That's the Wrathstone tablet, yeah. And
apparently that's the first DLC.
Quarter 2, but this is quarter 1, so
bear with us.
Sorry, a little excited. But yeah, Wrathstone is going to kick the year off of the year-long story, the Season of the Dragon, if you will. It's 2 dungeons and some really cool quality of life improvements and a new feature. And we actually have another video from the team that will give you a sneak peek about the videos or the dungeons.
So it's a year-long adventure, and we're going to bring you to 2 dungeons first. To kick off Wrathstone, we have Frost Vault and Depths of Malatar. In Frost Vault and Depths of Malatar, you're going to be seeking out both halves of the Wrathstone tablet.
In Frost Vault, half of the tablet has been sealed away by the Dwemer in a vault deep within the mountains of Eastmarch.
Frost Vault
See,
has
now
all
we're in
manner of
Eastmarch
creatures
again.
Goblins, Dwemer, traps, and you're going to have to battle through all of those to get to the Wrathstone.
The hell?
In Depths of Malatar, You will discover that the tablet has been sealed away deep within the sunken city of Garlus Malatar, where it is protected by followers of Meridia who have devoted their very life and essence to making sure that the tablet never sees the light of day again.
You're gonna go against goblin tribes,
Dwemer traps,
crazy constructs, and even get turned into a tiny skeevatin.
collapsing bridges and structures, and I cannot wait to see how players handle it. Once you deliver the tablet halves to Abner Tharn, he takes you on this adventure that leads to the halls of Colossus, and you witness the biggest fuck-up of his career.
Raststone is just the first part of the entire story that brings dragons to Tamriel, and we can't wait to see players dig in and face all these new challenges.
Just as Mike and Michelle said, there are 2 new dungeons coming in the Q1 Raststone DLC.
Yeah, and they tie. You can already see how they tie into the lore and kind of the story and the setting, and that's something that's really important for us. We want to tell this year-long story, and Michelle actually called it straight out. You know, these in the dungeons, they are holding, or they are vaults for both sides of the Raststone tablet. And
you know
when
what?
Thorn gets them, he is under the impression that these tablets will lead him to a power that will allow him to bring peace to Tamriel. That's his.
To be
that's
totally
what he's
honest,
trying
I
to do
don't
with
care
this.
too
He's
much
trying
about
to
the
do that with
tablets. And
Anamarco,
I'm not sure I'm going to be
Prophet,
doing
and
the
that kinda
rest,
went south.
that very first
And so
big
he's
update,
at
the
it again,
Raststone
and
DLC.
his heart's in the right
Not sure.
place.
But it's like the Always Sunny in Philadelphia music starts playing.
That's right, and you know, as you kind of go on this adventure with him, you're going to run into Chimera, who was the Khajiit, the female Khajiit in the trailer, and the 3 of you are going to go off. You're going to discover the fabled halls of Colossus, and you're probably going to unleash some dragons on players and on the Khajiit. Which, P.S., it is totally your fault.
There's a lot of story that's going to be built onto this, but when the event starts, you're going to get a message from someone.
Yeah, Abner Tharn will call you up. We kind of teased this to some of our players where we sent the tablet and we sent this really cool invitation. That's how it's going to kick off, and then you're going to go through that storyline and get super hyped about releasing dragons.
Not just content, though. We're getting some new features.
We are, and I'm really, really excited about these features. The first one that we're going to talk about is Zone Guide, and this tool is essentially a way for players to help figure out what to do in a zone. And so you can see here, you know, this player's kind of gotten in the zone, they're not sure what to do. When they open up their map, on the left side, there's kind of this at-a-glance view of the zone and their progress. And there's a little button there, you click on it, it says go to Zone Guide. When you're at the Zone Guide, you get this brief synopsis of the story and some of the meta achievements and kind of your progress. And when you click the button, it zooms into where the next step in the story is, where the NPC is. It changes kind of the icon in there, and it makes it really, really easy for you to kind of get in and figure out where you left off.
Yeah, well, as you said, or maybe not you said, but in the videos, that 2018 was the biggest addition of players. So this is definitely going to be helping a lot of those newer players that jump into the game.
It's not just new players as well, though. So our game is so content dense. There's so much to do. It's super easy to get distracted when you're kind of going around. You could do pledges one day or jump into Cyrodiil another or whatever, and it's hard to remember where you were. This tool is going to be useful for those players as well.
Nice.
And P.S., this is going to be on PTS next week.
Next week. The Raststone DLC?
Yes,
PTS
it'll be on PTS next week that you can go in, you can jump in, and you can play test it, and it's going to be really exciting.
All right, the last feature that you're adding as well, Guild Trader UI revamp.
Yes, so this is something that we've gotten a ton of feedback on over the years, and you know, you can kind of see here the team has gone back and they've completely re-architected this. There's a whole bunch of new filters in there that you can sort things with. There's a recent searches list where you can quickly and easily go back and research for things. There's also text search now, real honest to God text search, where you can start to type in the name of an item, the drop down list will start to populate with those items, and you click it and you search for it, and it's only going to pull in the items that match that text.
A much needed quality of life change.
It is. It's huge. It makes searching for things on the Guild Trader so much easier. It makes it faster and way more reliable. And both of these tools, we just showed kind of the PC UI because it was really quick and easy for us to do, but console players are going to get these as well. This supports both PC and gamepad UI.
That's fantastic. I'm sure
That's
there's a lot of
good. Yeah,
console
that was
players out there for other
annoying.
games that kind of feel
Not
like they're
being
left in
able
the weeds a
to,
little
you
bit.
had to
A little
like
bit,
dig
you know,
around.
our PC players
for
in
minutes
particular have a little
sometimes
bit
for
of
what you
advantage.
wanted.
They have mod support. Consoles, we don't have that yet, so this is a really good way to kind of improve their quality of life.
Nice. Rich, we talked a lot about Q1 and Q2. Now we're going to briefly touch on the last two quarters. Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. So we're going to do 2 more updates after quarter 2. So quarter 3 is going to be a dungeon DLC, similar to Wrathstone. Quarter 4 is going to be a story DLC, similar in scope and size to, say, Murkmire.
Oh, okay.
And that is the culmination of the year-long story. So there's a bunch of really cool things in there, really interesting surprises. Totally not going to talk about that yet. We're going to save that for E3.
E3.
And that's also where the next trailer is going to be, is E3 as well.
Man, this is a huge year for Elder Scrolls Online. We got dragons, we got Elsweyr, we got necromancers that you guys have been asking for, and it's your 5th year anniversary.
It is, and that's a huge milestone for us. That's something that at launch not a lot of people thought we were going to get to.
Well, in the era of MMOs, which was, what, 2006, 2014, yeah, to jump in.
It was definitely a big challenge, but, you know, the team really dug in. They were super committed to doing this thing, and it's really a testament to the team back home that got to kind of rally around, continue to build the game, make it better, and I'm super lucky that I get to be the one that gets to represent the studio back home. They are the group that makes the magic happen, and they're an awesome group of people. They're super talented, they're super passionate, and I thank you all. The community obviously loves what we're doing and what the team is doing as well, so hats off to them. This is something really special for us.
Well, Rich, sharing all this information to all the audience as well is very special as well, so thank you so much for joining us here.
I had a blast.
Now, before I send us off, there is an Elsweyr lithograph giveaway that's going to be happening right now in chat. Guys, all you have to type in chat is dragon, D-R-A-G-O-N, for the 5 people that don't know how to spell that. You're going to be winning an Elsweyr lithograph, and you're going to find out the winner right before this post show that we're going to have. We have an Elder Scrolls Online live show that's happening just after this ends.
Yep.
Okay. Well, that's it. Good luck, everyone. Type dragon into chat, and we'll see you all next time.
Well. Oh, and then there's going to be a post show. We'll stick around and maybe watch the post show, or at least we'll watch a little bit of it. If it doesn't look like it's anything exciting, we'll probably just end the video from that point. Okay, I'm going to, let's do that. Okay, so, what do you think? And I could start with my opinion of the very first DLC, which sounds like it's called, what's it called? Yeah, Wrathstone. I'm not very, it doesn't seem compelling at all. Would it make me reinstall everything and then buy however much this 4-part expansion is going to be? I don't know. It seems like when you call it Elsweyr, you should be able to, the very first update should be it opens up the entire province of Elsweyr. That's what I was expecting, but yeah. And then let's see. So Cactus says, I'm excited. A lot of things I've been wanting since 2016 will be added, and that's true. It sounds like a lot of things that I've wanted, even when I started playing it back in early 2014, they're finally coming out with. And I bet a lot of people feel that way. It's like, why did it take you guys 5 years to figure out dragons and Elsweyr? Yeah. Oh, I see. The dungeon DLCs are not really for new players, which is weird. Yeah. No, I don't know. I don't know what if there's issues with consoles, and what do you mean console lag? That sounds like a problem with your internet connection. dragons are enemies for now. Yeah, probably won't be mounts. Yeah, and in fact, if you remember in Skyrim, dragons were only mountable at the very end of a DLC, which was Dragonborn DLC. In fact, you learned how to do it just before the end of the story of Dragonborn DLC, at the end of the DLCs for Skyrim. So, I mean, it was really at the end. Yeah, Murkmire is sort of like, it doesn't open the entire province of Black Marsh, but it does give you some deeper exploration into the Black Marsh region that does appear. You know, I think there's like one or two little regions, or they call them zones, that actually are within the Black Marsh. They're kind of like on the outskirts, just like they did with Elsweyr and just like they originally did with Morrowind. Oh, I see what Colton is talking about. Yeah, he's just talking about frame rate drop. Yeah, in raids. Yeah, and that's a typical thing because the raids in Elder Scrolls Online are gigantic. They're generally big. I mean, you know, I've been in raids where there were like over 100 people, and yeah, my frame rate would drop to like 15, 14. It's hard to play, and it makes you wonder why would ZeniMax Online do something like that, knowing that the performance was going to suffer. It becomes really hard and actually kind of nauseating to try to deal with a big battle in just 15 frames a second when there's like 100 other people attacking all at the same time. So for that reason alone, I avoided most big raids. I would do like boss battles and mini raids as long as there were only like 10 people total. Yeah, I noticed like right after about 10 people, once there's more than like 10 people in the area, especially more than 10 people on the camera within your field of view, then it just, I mean, there goes the frame rate. Yeah, and also, hey, Strong, did you ever meet Graham? Yeah, one of my favorite quotes from Graham in Fallout 76, he's something like, "Trading is easy. All you need is two things. One, stuff. Two, someone to trade with." Oh yeah, and then Graham would get stuck in the ground, and then his poor, oh yeah, and his teleporting Brahmin. Oh yeah, Charlie the Moo Moo. Yeah, that was Charlie the Moo Moo. Yeah, that thing would phase in and out of existence constantly. I mean, you didn't have to interact with him. It was just, it was fun to see, it was cute to see that on camera the first few times. Oh, that's his name. Oh. Yeah. What I also want to know, well, they didn't really explain, like, are you going to have to pay $30? And if you pay $30, then you get all 4 of the big updates. Yeah, I think that's what it's going to. I think that's what it's going to amount to. You kind of buy the whole suite. You know, there's like, this is a whole suite of 4 updates of Elsweyr, and then like the first one is called. See, I keep forgetting what it's called. Stone something. Isn't that ridiculous? I've already forgotten the name of the update. Oh well. I don't know if the post show. I'm not sure what it's all about. If it's going to happen in a minute. No, it doesn't really say. Is it going to happen or not? And still never figured out what this stupid stuff is. What's this? Whoa! Oh, it's the whole Bethesda Twitch extension. I see. What's this? Which dungeon from the Raststone DLC do you want more on? Frostvault, Depths of Malatar, or neither? No spoilers. Yeah. Oh, it's already resolved. Oh, shit. Oh, they were doing polls while the stream was happening. I see. How weird. Not a very good extension, actually. Yeah, if that's true, yeah. Hey, what's up, Crazy Gamer 646? Oh yeah, I played Elder Scrolls Online. I played it alone. I played the closed beta way back in 2013. I was invited into the closed beta, and then also I played it with the collab mode team, which is like Lone Vault Wanderer, Grolvana, JV 2017. Wasteland, Dovahkiin, Stali 111. All of us played, like, I think we did like 6 episodes of Elder Scrolls Online together. But then it was too difficult. It was just too much work to pull us all together. So we didn't do any more. But then I did another 4 or 5 other streams of Elder Scrolls Online Morrowind. I was doing the Morrowind expansion. Yeah, and that was back in 2017. Oh, and so Cactus says the mini DLC would be about 15 euros each, and Elsweyr is like 40 euros each, or you could buy Elder Scrolls Online Plus, but you won't get Elsweyr. Yeah, so for that reason alone, I'll probably just, if I do cover any of this stuff, I'll just do the big Elsweyr expansion when that's out, and it sounds like that's coming out. That's the second one that will come out in this 4-part series. Hey, Dovahkiin Kajit Master, what's up? Yeah, actually, I'm going to be sporting this hair in my streams on Twitch. Now, while we're waiting for the post show to begin, let me explain what I'm going to do. So whether I cover Elder Scrolls Online, Elsweyr or not, I am returning to YouTube streaming a little bit longer. I originally moved over to YouTube, and I was streaming on, I moved over to Twitch, and I was streaming on Twitch for a while, but the audience is low, and it takes a while to build an audience on Twitch. So I'm also going to be streaming on YouTube to try to get more people over to Twitch and eventually wean people off of YouTube streams, because YouTube, even though it worked out fine, I always had a good audience, just like right now, we're just talking, we're essentially just chatting, and we got like 37 people here. So obviously, YouTube was working, and it actually works better than Twitch does for me right now. But so I have to stream on both now. I'm not sure which games I'll be streaming on both. I'll stream one game on YouTube, and then I'll stream another game on Twitch, and I'll keep like alternating back and forth. So that's what I'll be doing for streaming. But then I'm also going to be starting uploads more often too on YouTube and on Twitch, actually. It turns out you can upload videos to Twitch, so I might as well do that. In fact, I do have a video that's coming out in probably tomorrow. It's a full 4K demo of Resident Evil 2, the remake demo. And it took a long time to edit, took forever to render because it's in 4K and 60 frames per second. And then it took, no, it didn't take long to upload. It took about an hour and a half because I have a good internet connection. And now YouTube is processing that video. So I will premiere that maybe tomorrow, whenever it's done, whenever it pops into 4K. Oh, actually, all it has to do is pop into 1440p, I think, and then I'll stream it, because you can't premiere something in 4K, which is really stupid. Yep, and here is my Twitch link right there. It's twitch.tv/Culveyhouse. Yeah, but stay here too. You know, we're going to hold off for just a little while. We're going to keep streaming and see what the post show is like. If the post show is just like some dumb like giveaway stuff, then I think we'll end. But that's the main thing I wanted to talk about is whatever happens with this or with any other franchise, I will be streaming on YouTube for a bit. I'll also be uploading videos to YouTube forever, for a long time. I mean, I can't imagine ever just stop producing content on YouTube. I'll always be doing that. And then I'll also be streaming on Twitch. One game that's coming up is called Eastshade. Snuffleupagus actually tipped me off to the game, and it looks really cool. There's no combat, it's all exploration, but it shows off graphics. It shows off blazing graphics, which is exactly what my channel is focused on, is graphics. Graphics first. And because of that, we're only going to be streaming brand new games. We don't stream any old games. Now, this is an exception because, you know, even though it's an older game, it's a brand new DLC. So as long as I've played a game and there's a brand new DLC coming out, I'll also cover those. But in general, I'm trying to focus on brand new stuff. I don't remember if this is in the original soundtrack from 2013. You know what they're doing? They're playing the Elder Scrolls Online soundtrack right here. Whoops. Yeah, sorry, I keep doing that. And it's a pretty good soundtrack, and the whole thing is available. The soundtrack and all the expansion soundtracks, like the Morrowind expansion soundtrack, it's all available on YouTube. You can just listen to it on YouTube. Did I miss anybody? Okay, so I wonder, we may be sitting here waiting for a while. I don't know. And if we wait too long, then I'm just going to end the stream. But let's give them a little bit more time to pull it together. And here's, let's do a quick show of hands. I'm just curious, who's going to be playing the big Elsweyr update? Whether I stream it or not, I think I will. I actually think I will, but the big question is it worth streaming and covering on my channel? That's what I'm going to be struggling with for a while. So I don't know. Oh, Snuffleupagus will. Oh, Culvey, do you think Elder Scrolls 6 will look anything like the graphics in the Elsweyr trailer? Oh, Dova. Yeah, Dovahkiin Kajit Master asks, Colby, do you think Elder Scrolls 6 will look anything like the graphics in the Elsweyr trailer? Well, it's going to look a lot better than that. I mean, they're going to really have to get their game on with graphics, because by the time that, by the time Elder Scrolls 6 is out, we'll have a new generation of consoles. We might even have a new generation of graphics cards for both AMD and NVIDIA by that time, even beyond the RTX 2000 series. Like maybe it'll be a RTX 3000 by then. I mean, they really have to get their game on, or I should say they have to really get their graphics on. Oh, and Cactus said that he'll be playing it. Madam Roast Beef won't. Oh, Madam, do you have... Yeah, if you have the base game, if you bought the base game, then you can play for free. And Elder Scrolls Online Plus is just or TESO Plus is just like something that gives you all like free access to all the smaller updates. So like it sounds like what Cactus said is that if you have the TESO Plus, then you'll be able to get access to at least two of the smaller updates, like the dungeon updates. It's so weird how they do this. It's oh, you know what? I think this is the Morrowind soundtrack. Yeah, it is. Elder Scrolls Online Morrowind soundtrack. Yeah, it is. Oh, and Don Spear Records says he'll play it too. Oh, and Jake does too. Yeah, I figured Jake would have Elder Scrolls Online. Yeah, and you can buy just that raw, just the most basic game itself, and then you don't have to pay a monthly fee anymore like you used to. Before you'd have to pay monthly for this, and then at some point he got rid of it. They got rid of it. Oh, and Bertharn has the Amulet of Kings. I did not know that, and Bertharn had the Amulet of Kings, but apparently, so that is part of the lore now. Oh, here's the after show. I was going to say afterglow. Watch this. Did we see this earlier? Oh yeah, we saw this earlier. They're just replaying the trailer again. I mean, we might as well watch it again. I think what they're going to do is they'll play this trailer and then they'll head into the after show. So now that makes sense. The two parts of the tablet. See, now it makes sense. Oh! And apparently that's how you wake up the first dragon that will appear in any of these 4 updates. I see. Now it's starting to make sense. So that's how you wake up a dragon. Ooh. That's one hell of a Dragington. You know, that looks almost like a dragon from the Game of Thrones, doesn't it? It doesn't look like your typical Skyrim wyvern-like dragon. That looked a bit more Game of Thronesy. So this, and then this is like the second, they're kind of like teasing the second part of the 4 updates. And this is where Elsweyr actually opens up, and now you can explore all of Elsweyr apparently. And then to complicate things, there'll be dragons flying all over the place. So it says coming June 4th, but I think the very first part will come before June the 4th, right? Yeah, and they still didn't mention, they still didn't explain like when it's going to come out. Oh, here, let me just turn it.
We're actually live from Twitch headquarters, which is really exciting.
And we have friends.
We have some friends.
Special guests.
2. I'm Gina Bruno.
Hey, Regimo, what's up?
Community managers for the Elder Scrolls Online. We can kind of go around the horn here, I guess.
I'm Ninja614, member of the ESO stream team, and I'm an old biker that plays Elder Scrolls Online on Twitch.
I'm Rich Lambert, creative director.
You again.
Me again, yes.
I'm Jibs from the Lore Seekers podcast.
And I'm Jessica Folsom, also on the ESO community team.
So thanks everybody for joining us today. We're going to start just kind of recapping what did we just announce. Rich was just doing an incredible announcement with Kelly from Twitch. We announced just this whole crap load of stuff.
Whole year.
So we're going to Elsweyr in the upcoming chapter in Q2, which is pretty exciting. There's going to be dragons, a new necromancer playable class, a full 12-player trial, which is really cool.
That has each boss having its own unique hard mode.
Yeah.
Woo!
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we were saying we just kind of noticed Alcast's head probably exploded when we said that.
I think this is the player reaction right now. We've got we made our own little meme based off of some of the memes we've seen from all of you.
Yeah.
Featuring
Chimera.
Mm-hmm.
Who was the female Khajiit there.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And basically all of the DLCs that we're doing in 2019 is a year-long story. So it's a year-long story spanning all of the DLCs and the chapter that we are lovingly calling Season of the Dragon.
Mm-hmm.
What did you guys think?
Oh my gosh. It was good.
Was it amazing?
It was so good.
Were you out there shrieking and squealing? And
But that is a good point.
Ed
Grunke asked, he mentioned it, hope it comes to Switch. Well, if you were serious, it's very, very unlikely. It's virtually impossible for them to ever add any platform in Elder Scrolls Online. In fact, even when the next generation of consoles come out, they probably won't port this over and make it available.
Elsweyr Art
This
Prince.
is like
the
3 platforms.
You can get one too.
I want one of those.
I want one of those.
So that's what it looks like. You can see on the screen. The winner is. You want to try and pronounce this?
Redinator.
Redinator 101.
Redinator.
There you go.
Congratulations. Somebody will be in touch with you to get your address. We'll ship that to you. Congrats.
Yeah, so that was who won on
So,
the, by typing in Dragon.
You can pre-purchase Elsweyr right now. The website is up. We are taking pre-purchases, and if you pre-purchase now, you get immediate access to the Rod Mothra horse mount. Now, these are for digital pre-purchases only, but it looks really cool. You might even see some people riding around on it already.
Well, there's your new horse mount.
It's black and electric.
It's awesome.
So you'll get that. Just look in your collections as soon as you pre-purchase.
That looks like
the digital version. of Elsweyr.
Very necromancy.
The one from Soul Cairn.
So you also get immediate access to Morrowind and Somerset. Now this is for full digital versions only, but it's just kind of a cool perk in case you're not already playing Elder Scrolls Online. You can get right in and start playing Tamriel Unlimited and Morrowind and Somerset. Good stuff.
There's going to be physical copies?
So we are not doing a physical collector's edition this time, but we are talking about having some sort of goodies kind of tied to the whole Season of the Dragon thing. So more information is to come. But yeah, we can clarify there is no actual physical Elsweyr collector's edition.
What am I going to put on my studio on my shelf?
Would you quit whining?
We have some
you can
stuff
put this
planned.
water there.
We have some stuff planned.
Take this glass
Just
with
wait,
you.
Take this glass of water and just stop it.
There's some cool stuff. I like this, Gina. She's like, shut up. You move it on.
All right, so there's also other items when you pre-purchase.
Yep. So in addition to, there they are.
Yeah.
So the pre-purchase items, you have the Noble Clan Chief costume. That's a Khajiit themed costume. The Blue Dragon Imp pet. So that's a cool one. Maybe we can talk a little bit about how that works, because that's a pretty unique pet. The Bandari Peddler Crate, Elsweyr treasure maps, and of course, XP scrolls.
Why is that a unique pet?
So, do we...
Tell us more.
So dragons, there are no baby dragons.
There are not.
There are no baby dragons in
Oh,
Elder
yeah.
Scrolls lore.
The collector's edition sold really bad.
Yeah, we're no dragon eggs. No one really knows how dragons come into the world in Tamriel. It's a mystery. It's kind of like the Dwemer. Just nobody knows.
That's just how it is.
So,
it's like when you try and explain to your toddler something and they just keep asking why. It's like, it's
Why?
just,
Why?
just because.
Why?
It is.
Yeah.
Get your jacket on. Get out in the
He's
car.
the guy. Why? Why?
So
No one in Tamriel's old enough to have the talk yet, so.
So that pet is basically an imp that...
It's an imp that can kind of change its appearance. It's an illusion, and that's how we were kind of getting in the baby dragons.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Without destroying the lore.
Gotcha.
Genuine photo baby dragon.
There you go.
And of course, there's collector's edition goodies that come with the digital collector's edition. This comes with the full version and the upgrade. So there's the... Let's see, we're looking for...
Maybe.
There we go. A
love that
super cute Ashen Scar Jerboa pet. The Archaic Lore Tablet Memento. It's like the Wrathstone. A awesome bulky...
Don't buy the
lore
collector's
Khajiit
edition.
called the Sench-Rot. That is a mount. That's a favorite. The Dragonborn style outfit and the Khajiit cultural emote pack. So tons of cool stuff that you can get.
Yes.
All of this you'll get when the chapter launches.
Still no Lyra's Titanborn mount, though.
That is so creepy, dude.
No, we don't know what systems Elder Scrolls 6 will be on yet. We know nothing about... Jesus, they're noisy, aren't they? Yeah, we have no idea. We have almost no information about Elder Scrolls 6 at all. But we know for sure that it's not going to be current generation consoles. So I mean, that's very obvious. It'll be next generation consoles and PC. But we just don't know how extensive that will be yet.
June 4th for all platforms with PC Early Access starting on May 20th.
Ooh, PC
so we're
Early
gonna
Access?
kick everything off next week with Wrathstone, which is coming to TTS next week, which means patch notes next week. We know we also talked a little bit about posting some of the changes coming to the racials for combat. We're going to be posting those in the next couple days, so keep an eye out. Wrathstone comes with 2 brand new dungeons, Depths of Malatar and Frostvault, the Guild Trader UI, Zone Guide, and more things, which we'll be talking about a little bit later in the show. So stick around.
Hit those dungeons next week.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
All right, so we know there's been some questions coming up from the community.
We promised to answer some of them. We were gathering behind the scenes while the last show was going on.
Through chat, because it
No,
was
you know, we tried, but chat was pretty quick. Now
Wow.
we were hitting Reddit, the forums, Twitter, anywhere we could to grab questions.
Yes.
So we're going to answer some of those.
We'll answer. Okay, we'll
so
listen
one
to
of
a
the
few
things
of
that we
these
saw
and
coming
then
up a
we'll
lot
hang
was
up.
asking about extra character slots, since we are adding a new class to the game. A lot of people already have their character slots maxed out. So, Rich, would you like to touch on that?
How do you feel about that, Rich?
Tell us how you feel.
How do I feel about that?
Tell us how you feel.
Well, I know there's players out there that are already at character cap.
You
There's
one
a
of
few,
them?
you know, sitting here. There's a few out there, you know, watching. So what we're gonna do is with Elsweyr, we're gonna give everybody a free character slot.
Woohoo!
You're gonna be able to play the Necromancer, and then we're going to increase the maximum as well on top of that. We're not sure how many yet, but we know everybody's gonna be really excited to play Necromancer, and we want you to be able to play it.
Some people are gonna want, you know, 3, 4,
8, 9.
Well, I got 4 wardens. So.
4 necromancers coming right up. Now, what about what can we expect for a crafting hub in Elsweyr? Because we know Somerset was really big, pretty much had everything laid out right there.
People like those super convenient ones.
Yes.
Yeah, we learned a lot with Somerset. Rimmon, which is kind of the main hub that you're going to get to go and explore. That was actually the city you saw in the trailer, which looks amazing.
Yep.
We're going to try to do something similar for that.
Great. Just in case anyone is still typing dragon into chat, apologize, you didn't win. Yeah, maybe you're just really excited.
Unless you're just doing it to troll Gina, and then it's okay.
That's her trigger.
It's not okay.
Oreo.
You know.
She's triggered.
Oreo Kyle Banana is the code word.
Oh my gosh.
You're going to get banned again.
I can actually physically ban you from this room if you want.
Right now.
I get dragged out by my ear. You're out.
We'll just kind of push him aside. It'll be fine.
Some people are also asking, who is the guy who appeared in the wagon at the end of the CG trailer? Now, some of you know, but some of you don't, and they were asking.
So that's one of the things we love to do in our trailers, is to try to throw a player analog in there. And so that is actually the Breton from our original launch trailers. So he is the player analog throughout the entire year.
A lot of people thought he died.
Well, but he got
I guess
more
he
turned into like an undead dude.
Look at this guy. Look at this guy.
Like one of the worm dudes, and he's been gone for a while. Now all of a sudden you see him with the glowy eyes in the cage, representing the Necromancer class, the player coming back. And the first question I asked was like, "Hey, is that supposed to be us? Just like the elven chick is supposed to be the player that we saw in all the other stuff? Yeah. So that's the nameless placeholder for you.
It's you.
Perfect.
Although I don't play Breton, so.
Oh.
We had some questions from people asking, how do I get that
Yeah, I don't know what he's talking
Dwarf
about.
Pet? That was the second milestone unlock, which we unlocked basically before we even started.
It was amazing.
I mean, I'm pretty sure my face just went white when Kelly was like, "Hey, we're just starting, and you got this already."
Yeah.
That was amazing.
That was
totally
good.
amazing.
So the Bantam Guard Pet, all you need to do, it's for all platforms. Just log in anytime this month. Just
that's...
If you already logged in sometime in January, it's cool. But then it'll be delivered sometime in March.
When Wrathstone goes live.
Okay.
Yep, that's what we're gonna do. So when Wrathstone goes live, you'll get the pet.
It'll show up in your collections. So minimal effort, just for watching. And thank you for watching.
Yes.
All right. The Khajiit's name in the trailer. That's actually a pretty good segue to talk a little bit more about this amazing trailer that we showcased earlier. So, who was this nameless Khajiit that we saw?
This is Chimera.
Chimera.
And she
Chimera
plays.
is bae. So many people love her. Like, she's already got a huge fan base.
Yeah, I mean, the trailer is amazing, and the Blur, who's the studio that we work with to make this, were amazing to work with. We actually flew out to visit them. We kind of walked them through scripts. We had lots of really cool back and forths. And I think it shows in that trailer just how, tuned in to what we were trying to accomplish with that trailer. They're amazing, and I'm super stoked about what they're doing next.
Yes. And as Rich mentioned in the announcement stream, there will be a continuation of that trailer a little later this year. Yeah, at E3.
That's the next one, so it's going to be awesome.
And I think this is the very first time we've ever shown a new character in a trailer that you will be able to meet in the game.
Yeah, she plays a very large part in the main story of this year.
But we won't say anything more than that.
That's right. That shade she throws Abner Tharn at the end of the
Wasn't that great?
Yeah,
She's just all like, you.
Yeah,
You did one job, man.
It's so good.
Just the animations that they have in there. They did, Blur is amazing at what they do, and they knocked everything out of the park.
It's very subtle, but it makes it feel a lot more alive. It's
just
very cool.
When you look at Chimera and she's like, Ooh, I almost swore. Whoa.
Holy shnikes.
Holy cow. Like, you see her eyes open up when the door's opening, and she's just like, you don't usually see that kind of attention to detail.
Yeah, her pupils die. Like,
Everything, yeah.
So now you guys understand when you saw that short teaser that we did last week, it all makes sense now. Yeah. Right?
That was fun.
The teaser
was totally fun.
Yeah.
It would have been more fun if it didn't get data mined, but
yeah. That was the idea. It was going to be really rewarding because nobody knew anything about it.
Yes. Yeah.
But some jerks had to go and spoil everybody's fun.
Well, moving on.
Okay. Well. Anyway, they're just going to be doing a lot of Q&A, so you can actually go over to twitch.tv/Bethesda if you want to keep listening to the Q&A. So why don't we kind of wrap it up here. I wanted to mention one more time to make sure you still stay subscribed to me and even turn notifications on, because I'm going to be uploading a lot of 10 to 15 minute videos. They're not just going to be gaming, but I'm actually going to expand into other things like fitness, education, cooking, whatever. Exploration. Exploring Silicon Valley, who knows what. I'm also going to be streaming on YouTube for a little while longer, trying to get people over to Twitch, because I'm now streaming on Twitch. So make sure you turn the notifications on, make sure you're subscribed, turn the notifications on, and then also go over to Twitch and follow me on Twitch. And I'm typing that in now. twitch.tv/Culveyhouse. Okay. I'm going to end the stream in just a minute, but there's the reveal. Elsweyr, a bunch of DLCs, including Elsweyr, in kind of 4 parts. And how to get they actually weren't even forthcoming about how you get the very first part or when it's going to be released. I'm almost certain, according to what Cactus and Snuffleupagus told me, that you need the Elder Scrolls Online Plus account, which is a monthly thing, unfortunately, to get these DLCs. The smaller DLCs, like the Wrathstone DLC. Okay? So I think I've decided I'm not going to cover the Wrathstone DLC, but I may stream Elsweyr. I'm just not sure yet. We have plenty of time to think about that too. And if I do stream Elsweyr, it'll be on Twitch, not on YouTube. I'll be doing something else for my streams on YouTube until I finally get enough of my audience over to Twitch, and then that's when we'll stop streaming on YouTube. All right? So we'll see you again very soon. As soon as there's a new game to stream on YouTube, I'll stream it. I'm not sure if it's going to be Resident Evil 2, the remake. I'm not sure yet. But just stay tuned. Also follow me on Twitter. You can also, because I update on Twitter almost every day. I usually say one thing on Twitter every day. And I'm typing that in now. Twitcher.com/Culvey. All right, we'll see you next time.